His relationship with us was like a relationship with us while having a mistress on the side, and that mistress was in the same room. Never getting his full attention, not knowing if we made him happy or if he was just happy to be intoxicated. All right, welcome back to Getting Sober, ... Again, my name is Jay, and today we are going to talk about there's somebody out there that cares about your sobriety. But first, make sure that you're subscribed by hitting that subscribe button down below and set your notification bell to all so that you get notified every time that we go live on Friday and Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't forget to like this video before you forget, and pretty please leave a comment for either me or for one of the many members of our community in the comment section down below. This is a community, not just a channel. Make some friends and stay a while. And with that, let's get started with today's topic. There's somebody out there that cares about your sobriety. There's somebody out there who wants you to be taking better care of yourself. Or to put it very bluntly, there's somebody out there that doesn't want you to die. I see so many people out there that are in pain. Pain from their past, pain from actions and events that they didn't ask for, pain from the accumulation of missed opportunities, from the what ifs, and also too from the consequences of their own decisions. Pain that they certainly didn't wish to happen to them and wouldn't wish on their own worst enemies. I understand what it feels like to live each day not knowing if things are going to get any better or if things are going to continuously get worse. I know what it feels like to not believe in myself, to think that I have no future, to think that I might be a burden to my friends, to my family, to my partner. I know what it feels like to think that I'm not living up to my full potential, that I'm not anything that I imagined that I would be when somebody asked me for the first time, what do you want to be when you grow up? 5-year-old me certainly didn't think I'd be pushing 40 and hanging out in dive bars and dark alleys, either letting myself be influenced by bad decisions or being the one to influence others to make bad decisions. But it's all part of the journey. That's all part of my journey. And as long as you're still moving, there's still time to make a right where you typically made a left. See what I did there? People get so caught up in their pride and ego, get so caught up in well, that's just the way I've always done it. Or that's just what my parents did, and that's what their parents did. And what so many people around me normalized doing. In our previous episode, we talked about who might you inspire with your sobriety. Not by getting on your soapbox, not by preaching, and not by being self-righteous, but by leading by example. By owning not just your sobriety, but your life, your responsibilities, by facing all of the things that you were running away from or that you thought you couldn't handle on your own without alcohol. By doing something different than giving up at 5 o'clock and drinking yourself not to care. In this age of instant gratification, we want everything now, and we want it to entertain us. That's where we got into trouble with alcohol, because it couldn't just be enough to watch the game. No. We had to have alcohol while we were already being entertained. We couldn't just celebrate somebody's birthday or be celebrated on our own birthdays. We couldn't just go to the movies, turn on Netflix, go on a date, go kayaking, hiking, playing sports. We forgot how to just have fun. Those things are already fun. You don't need to be drunk to do it. I always like to say that you can literally do everything without alcohol except get drunk. One of my favorite quotes is, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. And I admit, you have to let people be themselves. But tough love has its place. And it certainly seems to have become a lost art, especially in a hashtag politically correct cancel culture era where people are too afraid that their voice and their opinion will be misconstrued and not well received, because it would certainly appear that there's more power in rejection than there is a reward in standing up for what's right. Even when it comes to the health and freedom of those that we care about. Is it possible that you may not be giving people enough space and freedom to express their concern about you? How many times have you said, or how many times have you heard others who drink become defensive to the tune of, well, I still show up for work every day, don't I? Or I work hard, I play hard. Or I'm keeping a roof over my head, the bills are paid, and I'm not hurting anyone else, so what's the problem? But what people in that scenario don't take into consideration is that the hurt in that equation, the pain, maybe doesn't happen to anyone on that particular day or the next day. It's an accumulation of close-minded conversations, of people close to you slowly hoping for the best, but giving up in reality. It's normalized trauma, normalized toxicity, and generational trauma that trickles down like a virus until somebody, maybe you, takes a stand and potentially sets everyone else free for generations to come. You might say to yourself, well, why do I have to do all this work? And the answer is simple. It's because nobody before you was brave enough to do the work themselves. When we talk about the relationship between children and their parents, there often becomes a day where the child stops looking at their parents as the adult. Or even worse, where the child stops trusting that the parents know what's best. It reminds me of my own dad. After my parents got divorced, he remarried and moved to Hawaii for the last 10 years of his life. I was really hoping that he'd come back to Cleveland, where I'm from, to see my mother and I, but it wasn't until after he was diagnosed with terminal cancer that the conversation ever happened. I was hoping that he could see my first house that I bought proudly, and maybe he'd be proud of me. But when we were talking about him coming to visit for the first time in a decade, he still wanted to make room for alcohol. Now, I can only imagine the flood of emotions, of trips down memory lane one could possibly want to have. And can I blame him for wanting to just have a good time while his own mortality was in question? No. But what I wanted him to choose was us. His relationship with us was like a relationship with us while having a mistress on the side, and that mistress was in the same room. Never getting his full attention, not knowing if we made him happy or if he was just happy to be intoxicated. What I wanted to hear, see, and feel was him being present and not in a state of jovial intoxication. But knowing what I know now, I realized that some people, throughout their complicated life experiences, only find it possible to express themselves in some state of intoxication, refusing to learn new and complicated tools like communication, compassion, and consideration, refusing to adopt new methods of coping with life's challenges, refusing to give themselves the added luxury of the most precious experience that we can possibly know, and that's life. Some people think that life is happening to them instead of thinking that life is happening with others. We all have our challenges, struggles, and trauma. And 8 months later, after missing the opportunity to see my dad back at my birthplace, I found myself flying out to see him at what would eventually be his death place. Over an argument about our reluctance to buy him his favorite boxed wine for his proposed visit because he was too proud and set in his ways to see that we cared, to see that we loved him, to hear what we were saying between the lines, which was, we love you, we don't want you to die. And though it's too late for him, and for us, it's not too late for you, or for someone that you care about. After our last episode, 117, we talked about who may you inspire with your sobriety. Since then, I've heard from wives wanting to inspire their husbands, fathers wanting to inspire their daughters, and grown children wanting to inspire their parents. I'm a firm believer that with any growth, there will be some level of growing pains. You have two options. You can either go through the pain now and give yourself the chance to heal later, or wait to go through the pain later and potentially never heal. As I had my brief stint of being a stepdad, I certainly didn't curb my appetite for alcohol. Though I did keep it out of the house, I also made sure to make my stepkids feel and know that I loved them and that I was giving them my best by spending time with them, taking them to parks, playing with them, coaching them, and teaching them some of the general life principles and philosophies that I talk about here on this channel. But I wondered, what if they knew? What if they knew why I was really sleeping in? What if they asked why I wasn't more present with them? Was I not being present enough with them? What if they were worried about me and didn't know what to say? Because after all, should it be the child's place to have to worry about the adult? Or for other adults to have to worry about other adults. One of the worst situations for children is to feel that they have to be the adult, especially when it comes to the adults who are responsible for them. I worried for other people that I knew who prioritized hanging out and partying and almost treated their families like a burden or a chore. I knew I never wanted to be that. And as much as I wanted to believe that my healing would come sooner than it did, I also erred on the side that many of us do and thinking that it would just come to me, rather than being a decision that I would ultimately have to come to. As much as I wanted to escape from the world and my responsibilities, I would have been mortified if someone I knew was worried about me. Worried about not only my ability to provide, but my ability to take care of myself. We talked about the 40 signs of high-functioning alcoholics in the last live stream, where many of us, including myself, scored a 30 or higher out of the 40 behaviors. You may know someone that has a problem and have no idea what to do about it. But ask yourself if you were that person. Ask yourself if you were the person that friends or family worried about, or are you unaware? Because you continually submerge yourself in the echo chamber of your local bar, where you knew that nobody would bat an eye to your behavior because after all, they were all drunk too. Enabling others and hoping to also be enabled to have another. To forget about your responsibilities, your passions, your ambitions, your stress, and keep piling on additional missed opportunities for growth and real happiness, one drink at a time. And I know that sobriety may not be for everyone. Maybe a better balance is what you're hoping to have.
Yeah, me too.
Just like all the times that I found myself getting sober again, for most of us, we know that as soon as we open the floodgates to alcohol, it turns into reckless abandon in endless weeks, months, or years of binge drinking, which then results in new levels of rock bottom and maybe finding your way to getting sober ... again.
And again.
Learning better social skills is important. And though it may seem a lonely road, it certainly gives you a glimpse of nobility that your previous path would never come to. And though you may have been a victim to circumstance, relationships, or environment, with better tools and resources that we hope to provide here, I hope, and this community hopes, that you find your strength and find your courage to make the most of this life from this day forward. Our mission here at Getting Sober Again is to help save 10,000 people just like yourself from alcohol and addiction, to become one step closer to living your best life and being the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. To support our mission, please consider making a donation to our Patreon at patreon.com/Getting Sober Again. All of your proceeds help us to continue doing this very important work. Furthermore, if you're willing to volunteer, we have many things that we need to accomplish and so few hands to do them with. And please join us every Friday and Sunday night at 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific for our live stream and interactive chats where we spend 2 hours giving you the information that you need to make better decisions instead of worse decisions. It's free to come hang out. And what else are you gonna do on Friday and Sunday night? Drink? I hope not. Come meet the other helpful members of our community and meet some like-minded people who are in varying stages of sobriety from a few hours to a few years and come learn something new. Once you're subscribed, make sure that you turn your notification bell to all so that you get the notifications when we go live. Also, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up. Pretty please, I always forget unless somebody reminds me. Leave a comment for either me or for any of our helpful members in the comment section down below. And with that, I want to wish you good luck on your journey into sobriety, and I will see you in the next video.